So let's look at another way to find slope from equations. But before we do that, we're going to look at how we find slope from all the different ways. So from a graph, we just count rise over run. From a pair of points, ordered pairs, you would just do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then from an equation, you would do change of your y values over your change of your x values. So these are all the different ways we can find slope. The next way is going to be kind of a review from Unit 1 where we solved for y. But now we are going to solve for y and find out what the slope is. So you don't have to write the whole equation. You will, but your final answer will be m equals some number. So if we have it in the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, our slope is just m. So let's say we have an example. If it's y equals 2x plus 6, then all we would need to do is circle the number in front of x and just m equals 2. But unfortunately, equations aren't always written that easily. They are sometimes written in this other form, point slope form. This is something that we're going to learn about next unit, how to write an equation in this form. But for now, we'll just be given a form like this. And we're just asked what's the slope. So it's y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So the way it's really going to look like this, y, let's say it's plus 1 equals 1/2 x minus 3. So if it's written like that, all we're looking for is what is m. So since it's written where we have a y and an x, we have a parentheses over here, it looks exactly like this, but with numbers in x1, y1, which that comes from a coordinate pair. Our slope is just the number in front of that parentheses. So m equals 1/2. If it's not written that in either one of those forms, it's written in this form, standard form. It's gonna like 2x plus 3y equals 10. What we would have to do is solve for y and put it into y equals mx plus b4. So I'm going to show you this way, and then I'm going to show you a shortcut that you can use. So if it's written like this, we're going to solve for y to get it to say y equals mx plus b, and then just tell what m is. So we're going to subtract 2x to get it on the other side. You got to remember, we cannot combine a number with an x variable. They're separate. You got to keep them separate. So those cancel out. Now we have 3y equals. We want it as mx plus b, so we're going to write the negative 2x first. Negative 2x plus 10. You cannot combine them. Divide by 3 all the way through. So then that would leave us with y equals negative 2/3 x plus 10 over 3. So then our slope is just the number in front of x. M equals negative 2/3. Okay, so it feels like it's a long way. We got to solve for y, move everything around. It takes a while. But there is a shortcut. This is a shortcut that I taught my students last year. Only about half of them remembered it, But the half that did felt like it was way easier. So I'm going to show it to you in case you want to use it. You don't have to. You can always solve for y. But the shortcut is you look at the ax plus by equals c. The way you can find your slope is just by using a and b. It would be negative a over b. And what it means by negative a is change a's sign. So if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. 10 divided by 3 would be 3.3 repeating. That's why. So we really don't want to deal with repeating decimals. So I just left it. That's a good question. So if we want to find our slope just by looking at our standard form, this is how you'd find it. Negative a over b. So look at our original problem. 2x plus 3y equals 10. The a is 2 and the b is 3. So the slope would be negative a over b, so negative 2 over 3. Look how it's the same exact thing. This is our shortcut. We can use every time. This also works. So if you've forgotten what the shortcut is because it doesn't give it to you on your formula chart, then you can always solve for y. But if you can remember negative a over b, then that makes your life a whole lot easier. Either way is going to work for me. All right, so we have some examples we're going to do together. So depending on what formula they give it to us in or what format we're given, that'll decide what elm it is. So if I have this first one, y equals negative 2x plus 5. This is just written as y equals mx plus b. Go ahead and write that underneath. So the formula is right underneath it. So elm is just negative 2. We didn't have to do anything there. One year, the star had something similar to this. It said y equals 12x plus 3. What's the slope? Slope was just 12. A lot of people got it wrong because they thought it had to be harder than this. But it's not. It's just slope is the number that's in front of the x. It's just your elm. We don't put x with the slope, we just put the number. All right, this next one. 2x plus y equals 5. So we could either do a negative a over b, or we could solve it for y. So a and b, right? So if we do, I'm going to do it both ways on this one, just so you see how they're the same. So elm equals, I'm going to go ahead and put negative a over b. Just if we keep on writing it, hopefully we'll start to remember it. That's my whole goal for you, is to remember the shortcut. So elm equals negative a. So a is 2, so it'd be negative 2 over b would be a 1. So that just gives us negative 2. That's all the work we would need, exactly. So let's say we wanted to solve it out because we forgot this. We would just need to get y by itself. So we'd subtract 2x on both sides. And we get y equals negative 2x plus 5. Same thing, right? Elm equals negative 2. So either way you go, you'll still get the same slope of negative 2 on that one. And actually, these are the exact same problems, just written in different forms, adjustment. It's not always the case. That's just how those two are set up. All right, the next one, we have y minus 3 equals 4 parentheses x minus 2. This is written in that point slope form. Look at y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. We're going to write that right underneath, or you can write it above. It doesn't matter. Y minus y1 equals m, parentheses, x minus x1. So they're written in the same form. They just have numbers in the m spot, the x1 spot, and the y1 spot. So the slope, just the number in front of the parentheses right there. M equals 4. We don't have to solve it out because it's in that one form where it has M in front of the parentheses, which really helps out, makes it easy. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Y equals -3 plus 2.4 parentheses x plus 1.2. That's not written in any form. Okay, so you think it's 2.4. It is. The way you could show it is just by simplifying, simplify. So that it says y equals just mx plus b. So it's already as y equals, but we've got to simplify. We have parentheses over here. We're going to distribute. So it's still the -3 plus, whenever I distribute the 2.4, I'm going to multiply it times x. And then 2.4 times 1.2. So it's just not always simplified, but let's go ahead and simplify it. We can combine on the right side the -3 and the positive 2.88. -3 plus 2.88. Negative 0.12. We keep the 2.4 because we want mx plus b. So 2.4x minus 0.12. And now it's in the y equals mx plus b form. So m is 2.4. So you were right in saying that our slope is 2.4. And really all we would need to simplify is whatever x is being multiplied by, because that just tells us right there. Yeah, there's really no reason to solve all that. Exactly. There was a problem like this on the star one time. A lot of people got it wrong again because they didn't know where the slope would be in an equation like that. All right, let's go. We got two more that we're going to do together, and then I'm going to have you do 4 on your own. So this one's written as ax plus by equals c. So remember, it's -a over b. So if you know that formula, write it down and then go ahead and plug it in. So a would be -1/2 over 2. Put that in the calculator. Alpha y equals. You do another alpha y equals and put another fraction in there. So look how I put mine in. -1 over 2 divided by 2. But it comes out to be -1/4. On your quiz, though, there is a problem that's a fill in the blank, like you have to bubble your own answers, write your own answers, but you can't put that in to bubbles. So what you'd have to do is change it to a decimal. So remember, to get to a decimal, you go to math, go down to number 2 for decimal. Fraction is number 1. But if I want to put in the decimal form, I'd go to 2, put enter. So just remember, if it asks for your slope, and it's one of those answers that you have to type in your answer, put it as a decimal. When it comes out to repeating, usually means you did something wrong because they don't usually let you put those in the test like that. All right, so this would just be -1/4 or -0.25. You can write it either way. If you don't know the negative a over b, or you don't want to do negative a over b, you can solve it for y. You would still get the same thing. But I'm not going to do that. Let's look at the next one. It's another one. Ax plus by equals c. Yep. So the negative a over b just means change the sign of a, keep b the exact same. So it'd be positive 5 over a negative 10 because you would keep the same number for the b. That's a negative 10. Even though it says minus 10, negative and minus you can use interchangeably. So 5 over negative 10, you can just put that in the calculator, have it reduce. Mm-hmm. We could put it as a decimal or as a fraction. Negative 1 over 2. So m equals negative 1 over 2. Or 0.5, negative 0.5. Either answer would be correct. All right, so I'm going to give you some time to work on these 4. I'm going to walk around, and if you need help, I'm going to help you, and then I'm going to check your answer, and you can glue this in the next page of your journal after you finish and I check it. So hopefully you've had enough time to do the slope for these 4 and go and go the answers. So that's written in the form of y equals mx plus b. So your m is the 2/3. The next one is written in the ax plus by equals c. So you can solve for y, or you can do the negative a over b. I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. Remember, you cannot combine an x with a non-x. We are going to keep these separated. Divide by negative 8 is our final step. So y equals negative 4 over negative 8 gives us half. 8 over negative 8 gives us negative 1. So our slope is 1/2. The next one's written in that point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. So our slope is just negative 3. Our last one, it's written as y equals, but not mx plus b. So we can put it in that form. So we need to simplify. This is like the one up here, like that. So y equals 5.4 plus, or multiply 3 times x is 3x, plus 3 times 6 is 18. And then you can combine your like terms. You want mx plus b first, so it's going to be the 3x. We're going to add 18 and 5.4, so it's 23.4. So our slope is known, which in this case is 3. Make sure you don't put x with your slope. You're just putting the number in front of x as your slope. Okay, and then you have an assignment that you need to